Have you been sitting here all day?
Pretty much, darling. I feel like a vegetable. How was your day then?
It's been a weird day.
How so?
Well, you know how some mornings you wake up, but you're not sure if you're really awake or if you're still just dreaming?
I feel like that every morning, darling. A pot of black coffee cures that in a flash.
That's how I've been feeling all day.
Sorry.
Like I said, it's been a weird day. How was yours?
Exceedingly ordinary. Almost depressingly so. I poked my head out of the door once for about a second, but thought better of it.
What are you watching?
Nothing special. We were thinking about watching a movie later, though.
Yeah, which one?
They have quite a few new releases out. Did you ever see Victory Hotel?
No. Is it good?
That's what they say, so we might catch that one.
I'll see you later, yeah?
All right, darling.
Let's talk to Charlie and Emma. Let's get through that dialogue that I didn't get through earlier.
Hi, Charlie.
What's up, April?
Mind if I ask you a few questions, Charlie?
Why would I mind, girl?
What's your take on Cortez?
Why do you want to talk about Cortez? I don't know him that well. He's been around for as long as I can remember, but I really never talked to the man.
Do you think he's as crazy as some people say?
No, he's not crazy. Just a little eccentric. He doesn't give a donkey's ass what people think or say about him. And that's cool. I don't know. I have a feeling there's a lot more to Cortez than what he wants us to believe. That man has had an eventful life, I'm sure.
Anything else that comes to mind about Cortez?
What else? I don't know what to tell you, girl. When he's not talking about books, he talks about old movies. He loves the classics, calls them real art.
What was it about me that made you want to be my friend, Charlie?
Everything, girl. You're a sweet peach. No, it's true. I liked you from the very beginning. When you first came into the cafe with a suitcase in each hand, lost and bewildered.
God, thanks for reminding me. I was such a country bumpkin.
No, everyone who comes to Venice looks like that, girl. This is the village of the damned, don't you know?
How long have you known Emma?
I met Emma about a year ago when she started studying at Vava. She moved into the room just opposite mine, and we became friends almost immediately. I like her a lot, and the two of you are the best friends I've ever had.
Thanks, Charlie. The same goes for me. Did you ever tell Emma that?
Yeah, I told her, and she jokes about it. That's just Emma. I know she appreciates me telling her, though.
Do you like living in Venice?
I love Venice. I've been here 3 years now, and I haven't grown tired of it yet. I don't know if I ever will. Venice is like a college campus. There are so many young people here from all over the world. And the mix of nationalities and ideologies and ethnicities is refreshing and inspiring. The fact that we're also right in the middle of one of the great cities on Earth is just a bonus. Call Newport whatever you want, at least it's alive, and there's always something going on. Yeah, Venice is my kind of place, and I'm not planning on leaving anytime soon. At least not as long as all my friends are living here.
What about you, Charlie?
What about me?
Yeah? When was the last time you talked about yourself?
I don't talk about myself, girl. You know that.
Still, I'd like to talk about you for a bit.
If you want. Just in general, or is there anything in particular you want to know?
What's your biggest dream?
A dark stage, a packed auditorium, and a single spotlight. dancing, girl, don't you know? I'm a good dancer, but I need to be among the best to make it out in the real world. So I'll keep studying and I'll keep working as a waiter to support my studies, just like you.
Are you happy working here at the cafe?
We make decent money, if that's what you mean. I don't want to be a bartender for the rest of my life, obviously. But yeah, I'm happy I have a job. And you work here too, so I get to hang out with my friend, right?
If it wasn't for that, I don't know if I'd be able to do it. Hard work and lousy pay. The hours are flexible, and like you said, I get to hang out with you and my other friends. How did you end up in Venice?
At home, there wasn't much professional training available for dancers. And my father, he was not happy about my choice of career. He wanted me to work in the factories like him and his father. Out here in Venice, everyone's got their own dreams, and people are supportive of each other no matter how crazy those dreams might be.
Your dream isn't crazy at all, Charlie. You're already halfway there.
But I still have a long way to go. You're right, girl. I can make it if I work hard enough. So can you. 'Cause we're both just so damn talented.
That's all I wanted to know, Charlie.
Okay.
Thanks, Charlie. How's work going today?
Aside from the trouble with the plumbing, everything's been peaceful. Emma's here with Marcus and Isabel. Other than that, I mean, it's been a quiet morning. Everyone must be home out of the sun, yeah?
Or on holiday.
Perfect time for it, too. The city's just boiling in July, and it gets even hotter in August. You should have stayed out in the country until the autumn, girl. It's cooler out there, yeah?
Yeah, the summers were cooler back home.
I remember my home. It got so hot sometimes. My father worked as a volunteer fireman, and sometimes he'd borrow the old truck from the garage. He'd fill it with spring water from the river up in the hills, and then he would hose me and my sisters down with ice-cold water. We'd laugh and scream and run around, and the funny thing is, his eyes would light up, and he'd be so proud of himself. He could be so good, and he could be so bad. On those days, I loved him so much. They were the good days.
I'll see you later, Charlie.
Later.
Howdy. What's up?
Not much. Mind if I ask you some questions, Emma?
Like I don't tell you everything that's going on anyway? Of course you can ask me questions. Like, duh.
Did you speak with Charlie today?
Yeah, for a few minutes. Why?
Nothing. Just wondered is all.
April, did he say anything to you at all?
About what?
About... nothing. I mean, I don't know anything. Which isn't true because I don't lie, but he... Ugh, forget it. If we were having this conversation in a movie, I'd be going, like... Shit, girl, get your act together, open your eyes! But I don't think that's a good idea. Not in real life. Because real life has a nasty habit of hurting people's feelings.
Did you finish your sculpture for the exhibit?
Pretty much. I'm happy with it, and I know that if I go back and keep working on it, I'll just kill it. So I think I'll leave it alone. You?
You know what? Don't ask. I'm praying it'll finish itself one of these days.
Sure. Could happen. It could so happen. But I wouldn't count on it.
I'll have it ready in time.
Yes, you will, or I'll kick your ass so hard that you'll...
Okay, I got it. Thanks for the inspiration. What's your, take on Cortez?
My take on Cortez. What's that, like a diplomatic way of saying what the F is this guy's glitch?
Sure, let's go with that one.
You know, I think Cortez is a barrel of laughs. In a good way. Everybody thinks they got him all figured out, you know? Like he's the resident weirdo. But I know that just ain't true. I've talked with Cortez, and the guy is brilliant. He's weird, yeah, and he's up in the clouds, and I think he believes in aliens, which is cool, but girl, he's smart. I mean, I'm not talking professor smart here. I'm talking real life, seen it all, been there, done that, smart. Useful smart. Experienced smart. And, ooh, I gotta tell you, the guy's cultured. Ask him about anything, art, music, movies, books. He's current on most topics, which scares me, because it seems he's always just, I don't know, hanging around doing nothing. He rarely goes anywhere. And it's like he's waiting for something. Or someone.
Yeah, maybe Jerry Garcia.
You're bad. No, I don't think he's a doper. I mean, listen to the guy. What he says may sound a little out there, but the way he says it... No, he's not on Amethyst, that's for sure. And one more thing, he is cute.
He's what?
Cute.
Emma, he's like 60.
Did you ever see his eyes? Those are not the eyes of an old man. And so what if he's 60? He's better looking than most of the guys I date, and so much nicer.
Then I think you've been swimming in the shallow end of the gene pool for too long, Emma. I mean, come on, a 60-year-old screwball with a ponytail and an exotic accent? Hello?
Well, we'll see.
Thanks, Emma.
Thanks for what? For talking to you? Girlfriend, what the hell is the matter with you? Snap out of it.
See you later.
Bye.
So those are the sort of full conversations you can have with Carlos and Emma.
Can I ask you a few questions?
Why, certainly, darling. About what?
Where did you find my ring?
Under the sofa, darling. It must have slipped off your finger while you were watching a movie or something.
That's strange, because I've been keeping it in a box in my room. I rarely ever wear it, and I've never carried it around in my pocket. What do you think of Cortez?
I'm not sure what you mean, darling.
Do you think he's a little creepy?
Oh, he's harmless. That old hippie's been drugged up for 50 years, and he's not likely to come down anytime soon. Mickey likes him, but I'm not a big fan. But what can I do? He just sits outside the building, smoking or reading a book. He doesn't harm anyone.
How long has he been around?
Oh, I don't know. A year, maybe? He just showed up one day, and he hasn't left since.
He never leaves his spot?
He sleeps and eats, obviously. And sometimes he goes to some revival cinema uptown. Says that second to reading, old movies are his greatest passion.
What else can you tell me about Cortez?
One word I wouldn't use to describe him is lucid. He's always on about some bollocks idea, and you'd never know from listening to him that he's got any sense at all. People say he's quite sharp, though, quite intelligent, well-read, multilingual, and he's travelled all over the world, apparently, but still completely bonkers if you ask me.
Tell me about Emma.
Emma? Why, she's your best friend, darling. I don't know what to tell you that you don't already know. You girls are so close.
That's true. The day we met, we clicked instantly. It was strange, but cool.
Like me and Mickey then, except for the sex, of course.
That's a pretty big except for, Fiona.
Oh, I guess so. She's the crazy one, Emma is. Not crazy as in mad as a hatter, but crazy in a good way. Fun to be around.
Emma's always been a little weird.
Exactly, darling. She's a flirt, too, and the boys seem to drop like flies at her feet. No wonder. She's a real looker, I don't have to tell you. I'm sure she could have been a model if she'd wanted, but she's an artist, and a good one, too. I really think she'll be a successful artist. Her sculptures are getting a lot of attention.
One thing I love about this is that this is a game from 1999, and like straight off the bat, you meet a lesbian couple, and I just love that about the game so much.
Anything else you can tell me about Emma?
Let's keep doing this talking.
She ought to be a little more careful sometimes. She's a flirt, and although she doesn't mean any harm, some lads don't take too well to being teased and rejected. You should tell her that, though, being her best friend and all.
I have told her. She won't listen.
No. She does worry me a little, but she's a big girl and she can take care of herself. I'm certainly happy to have her living here. Next to you and Charlie, she's my favorite tenant.
What did you think of me when we first met?
That's a peculiar question, isn't it? I thought you were quite lovely. I still do, darling.
Do you remember the day I arrived?
Of course, darling. It wasn't that long ago, and I'm not senile quite yet. It was in May, wasn't it? Charlie referred you to me, and you were quite at a loss. First day in the city, wasn't it? I remember. You looked like a lost puppy.
Puppy? Me?
When I saw you lugging that suitcase across the bridge, my heart went out to you. I'm glad you came here. You could have been lost anywhere else.
How long have you known Charlie?
Oh, he's one of our oldest tenants. It's close to 3 years, I believe, since he moved in. Charlie is always in a good mood, and he's such a gentleman.
I agree. He's an actual, genuine gentleman.
And you don't see a lot of gentlemen these days, trust me. You have a very good friend in him, darling. Perhaps even more than a friend.
What do you mean, more than a friend?
Not for me to say, darling. If you don't realize it yet, you will.
What's up with Zach Lee?
Zach? I think we both feel the same way about him, darling. He's not actually a bastard. If he was, I'd have had him out of here in an instant. But he is an arse, and a stuck-up, pompous, arrogant wanker.
My thoughts exactly. Aside from that wanker bit.
Still, he pays his rent on time, and he doesn't make a lot of noise. He keeps to himself. And most importantly, he's shit scared of me, so I can't just kick him out.
Tell me a little bit about yourself, Fiona.
Me? Why? It's not much to say, darling. I love my job, I love Venice, and I love being with Mickey. I'm a happy girl. Sure, sometimes I wish I could go back to England to see my family, but that's water under the bridge, so to speak. I'm very happy with myself and my life here in Newport.
How long have you and Mickey been together?
Mickey and I have been together since I was 19. She was in her late 30s then. The older, wiser, worldly woman. I found her sweet and charming and intriguing. When I finally realized she was neither of those things, it was too late. I was in love. She stole me away from my dreary British inner-city life, and she brought me here. She was no knight in shining armor, that's for sure, but she knew how to treat me like a woman.
You guys make a great couple.
You think so, darling? Yes, I guess we do. And the sex is amazing.
You never get tired of talking about your sex life, do you?
Never. And if I ever do, please shoot me.
Can you tell me something about the border house?
That's one of my favorite topics, darling. What precisely do you want to know?
What made you decide to run a boarding house?
That's a long story. One of the reasons Mickey and I got together was that we shared a passion for the classic English country inns. You know, quaint, weathered buildings, funny old ladies, and oddly suggestive names like the Lazy Cock.
So why come here to the big city? To America?
We wanted to create a place with a similar atmosphere and hospitality here in Newport. Like a safe house for people like you and I to call home, if only for a short while. So we discussed different options for a few months, and then we decided we wanted to start a boarding house for young, penniless students and artists.
You decided you wanted to do that here in Venice?
We knew that Venice was the place for us long before we came here, but the hard part was finding a building cheap enough.
And this building was available?
Not at first. Like most of the buildings in Venice, this one used to be a factory, but when we first looked at it, a local company was planning to turn it into a bar and nightclub. It was so perfect for our purposes, though, that we appealed to the Venice Borough Council, and after outlining our plans, they gave us the go-ahead at a reduced price, provided we kept our promises regarding our tenants.
What inspired the name Border House?
That came quite naturally when we saw the place. It's on the border between two worlds, isn't it? Between Venice and the city itself. And at the same time, I also believe we're on the border between two more abstract worlds. Between art and spirit on the one hand, and science and technology on the other.
That's very poetic, Fiona.
Yes, I've practiced. I may be an inner city girl, but I can philosophize and bullshit with the best of them.
Not far from the truth, then.
Do you and Mickey own the place together?
We own it together, yes, and we've shared the responsibilities between us. Mickey takes care of the maintenance of the building, and I busy myself with the administrative tasks. I also take care of the day-to-day management of our tenants, like deciding whether or not to let someone rent a room. And, of course, the unpleasant business of booting someone out.
I thought you enjoyed that part.
Yes, all right. In some cases I do, but not always. It can get quite messy.
Thanks for the information.
I'm glad I could help you out, darling.
What can you tell me about Venice?
I don't really know much about the history of Venice. You should really ask someone with an interest in local affairs. What I do know is that this whole neighborhood used to be an industrial area, and that about 100 years ago they converted most of the buildings into residences for students and the homeless. And it's a nice place to live, certainly. Friendly people, liberal attitudes, great clothing stores, quite perfect, aside from that dreadful stench from the canals in the summertime.
What's the story behind my apartment?
Your apartment? It's more a room than anything else. Not much more than a large closet, really.
It's not that small.
It's one of our smallest rooms, but it's cheap, and it's on a nice floor. I hope you're happy there.
I like it. It's convenient, and it's got an interesting view.
That's nice to hear, darling. As for the story behind it, no unexplained deaths or hidden pirate treasures, I'm afraid. Just a long string of students on a tight budget.
Do you like Newport?
The city? I stay in Venice most of the time. It's easy to forget we're just a tiny little pocket in the middle of a sprawling urban wasteland. But do I like it? I think Newport is one of the great cities of our age. Love it or hate it, you can't argue with that.
And which one is it? Love or hate?
I haven't decided yet, darling. Ask me again in another 15 years. Perhaps I'll have an answer then.
Tell me some more about the Border House.
What precisely do you want to know?
Thanks for the information.
Okay, so that's everything.
I'm glad I could help you out, darling.
Thanks
So
for your help,
that's
Fiona.
all of the
You're
conversations
welcome, darling.
of those characters.
Bye.
Bye now.
No.
The omnipresent screen. I don't pretend to know how it works, but all the data apparently passes through tiny little black holes in the fabric of our dimension. You know, that really freaks me out when I think about it. What's going on, Mickey?
Well, the water's been fixed, so you can take a hot shower if you want.
I smell that bad.
No, I didn't mean that you. I just, you know, in case you wanted to take a warm shower, I just wanted you to... the water being hot, as it were.
Thanks, Mickey.
Yeah.
I heard you had a nightmare last night.
Did she tell you that? She can't keep her mouth shut, can't she? You can't, can you?
As if your screaming wasn't enough to wake up the whole building. And so what if you're having a nightmare? You are human, you know, even though you'd like to think differently.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cause an argument. It's just that I had a nightmare as well.
Good luck trying to get anything out of her. She's so very together, you know. There'll be no chink in her armor. She's the Iron Lady. Well, bollocks.
Would you shut up, Fiona? I mean, for once, would you just shut up? Yes, I had a nightmare, and yes, it's none of your business. So don't try to make it your business.
I wasn't trying to intrude.
Fine. I just don't like talking about my dreams, yeah?
What was wrong with the pipes?
They're just old, like all of Venice. They're really old. Twice a year, every year, I have to spend a half a day freezing my ass off down in the canal performing emergency surgery on the pipes. Not that I don't love doing it, especially when my so-called partner's curled up on the sofa watching soaps all day long.
I'll talk to you later, Mickey.
Yeah.
Why don't you sit down and watch a movie with us, April?
You know what? That sounds like an excellent idea.
Okay, here we go.
I've got to find Cortez and get him to explain what the hell's going on. Insane or not, he's the only person I can talk to about this.
Okay, so I think I'm gonna end this here for now. I've actually been recording for nearly 2 hours without meaning to, but since this is such a long game, I probably will be doing long episodes anyway, probably about 30-40 minutes, just so I can get through it. But I hope you found this interesting to watch, and I will see you in the next one.